Let me bring in the host of Sunday with Stoker, 7 o'clock Sundays here on Sky News, Amanda Stoker, former Senator for the great state of Queensland. Oh my goodness, Amanda, it just does my head in that we've got a treasurer. We call him Doctor because he's a doctor of Paul Keating, and we've seen today what a doctor of Paul Keating delivers.
Well, you just have one look at the former curmudgeon-in-chief and think, how could anybody write a doctorate in loving the man? And yet, Chalmers has.
Dear, oh dear. We'll come back to Keating later on. I want to talk about this energy situation because it is dire. We've already had prices go up by at least 20 or 30% over the past year. What damage will another 20 to 25% do? Especially, we know about family budgets and that's crucial, but small businesses could, I mean, this could lead to people actually losing their jobs or closing their businesses, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The numbers that came out today indicate that retail customers are looking at somewhere between 19 and 23% of an increase in their electricity costs, but small business faces between 14 and 25% of an increase. And when I walk down the main street of Ipswich or the main street of Paddington, no matter whether you go to a well-off suburb or a tougher suburb, either way, you've got empty shop after empty shop and small businesses that are truly on their last legs. This could very well be the last nail in the coffin for a segment of our economy that once was its biggest employer. And I think that's really distressing. It speaks to the harm this does to the aspirations of Australians from all walks of life. And of course, it factors in and results in fewer jobs for the people who need it most. Yeah,
really what worries me about this, because it's not just the next 3 months, 6 months, year, what worries me about this and where it takes us in the next 5 or 10 years is Labor's solution. They continue to reject even the consideration of nuclear energy, and they promise to actually redouble the very policies that have got us into this mess. Here's Chris Bowen today.
Nuclear power plants are very expensive, they run over budget, they run over time. Mr Dutton can go off on this fantasy frolic if he wants. We'll remain focused on the job of introducing more of the cheapest form of energy, which is renewables.
Amanda, this just flies in the face of reality. We've happily spent $100 billion on this switch to renewables, and at the moment we don't have enough energy and it costs too much. Yet he rejects nuclear because he says it's too expensive.
Well, he says it runs over budget and over time. How can you say that? We've never had one here. I mean, what data is he using to back this in? If you want to talk about running over budget and late, then look at any one of Queensland Labor's projects and you've got perfect examples.
How about Snowy 2.0? How's that going on over budget and over time?
Exactly. And when you look at what is causing the problem, it is an over-investment in renewables, and that's not just market-driven, it's also government-driven. What we need is more balance in the system with a baseload option. And when you've got nuclear there that is ridiculously low in emissions, high in its baseload capacity, safer than people realise, and a well-tested technology that has been road tested just about everywhere else in the world with great success and low cost, then it's hard to see how what Mr Bowen says has any legs at all.
Yeah, it makes them seem like absolute troglodytes because, as you say, it's also very reliable and dispatchable, which is just what we need. And Chris Bowen actually in that interview also said one of the reasons nuclear is so expensive in his view is that we don't have a nuclear industry to set it up. We'd have to start from scratch. Doesn't that just underscore exactly the point? We need to enter the 21st century, develop these technologies. We're going to have to do it for our nuclear submarines anyway. We need that expertise, so therefore it will reduce the costs and practicalities here.
Yeah, and you have this opportunity that comes with the AUKUS submarines deal. we're going to bring in a lot of this expertise. Why not broaden the scope of the expertise that we'll be calling for and turn this into a viable industry? It will take some time, even if we start it today. It's why people like you and me have been calling for it for years and years and years. But the longer we wait, the more we have to wait until we have it in our hands and ready to go. So let's lift the ban. If it's as dodgy as Bowen says on the cost-benefit analysis, well, no one will invest in it. But
Exactly.
lift the ban. There's no reason for a ban in circumstances where everything he says, should just be subjected to the forces of the market.